is on a big word called deference. Does anyone know what deference means?
No. Well,
Yes. What is that? Respect. I did say but that's great you were listening. And so we're going to talk about respect. And so before I go into how I think you should show respect, I want everyone to go around and tell me in what ways do you show people respect? It doesn't matter whom. It could be your parents, your friends. Just give me one example of how you show people respect. I'm going to go around the whole room.
Saying thank you.
Saying thank you.
Listening to their rules.
Listening to their rules.
Instead of cutting them when they have a conversation, you say excuse me.
Good job.
You listen to your elders.
Listening to your elders.
Don't speak above others.
Don't speak above others.
Like
About or above?
above.
Above them. Like speaking while they're speaking and trying to cover their voice. Very good. So let's go this way. Sorry. Melanie. Respect. So how do you show respect?
You listen to what they have to say.
Yep. Oliver.
Like to show respect is like basically like you listen to what they say and they like basically like you don't like say anything bad like around you.
okay.
Obedience.
Johnny.
Respect shows how you treat somebody.
Okay.
Listening.
Listening. Okay. How do you show respect? How do you show someone respect, that you respect them? I'll come back to you. Saying hello to them? Okay.
Doing what they ask.
Doing what they ask?
Saying respect is being kind.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Saying you welcome? Okay. How do you show someone you respect them? That you are listening to them, that you care about what they say? Do you know? Tell me. Say it again. Okay.
When to respect someone, you listen when they give you a direction.
That's right. Very good. Don't talk above them, okay?
Don't speak behind your back.
Don't speak behind their back. Very good. So a lot of you said many of the same things. And how do you show respect? How do you have someone see that they
nice to
respect
others.
them? By being what?
Nice to others.
Okay, thank you.
Never forget me.
Sorry. Okay, so I don't want to forget our camera girl. So a lot of you said many of the same things. One of the things that I heard a lot of you say was what? Listening, right? And that's one of the things we talk about here all the time, right? Pay attention and listen. So that means, what that says to me, is that when I'm talking and you're not listening, you know you're not showing me what?
Respect.
Respect, right? So then we have to change that, right?
Yes.
Because you have to become more aware of what your actions are saying to someone. And I know you guys don't want to really tell me to my face or show me that you don't respect me, right? That's not something that you want people to know, you know, like, or feel or sense about you, okay? So, yes.
I don't think that they doing it on purpose. I just think that they don't know.
Yes, I agree. And I agree with Johnny. That's why I said we have to be more careful about what we do, because sometimes we're doing things we don't realize what it is we're portraying, what it is we're saying, what it is the other person might receive from our actions. And you know, even though it's in your mind or in your heart, your attitude might show something different. You all, I know you respect me in that when I speak to you, you know, face to face, and I tell you a command and you adhere, you respond. But as a group, right, you have to also show respect as a group. And even in those times when I'm not particularly speaking directly to you, you still have to show respect. Okay, so enough about that. Now you know, or I know you know, that when you're not listening, you know you're not showing me respect. Okay? people who are not authority? The little kids too?
Yes.
Okay, who else? Anyone else in between? Who do you show respect to?
God.
God, very. Did you just say God?
Yes.
Give me 5 on.
Three.
Awesome. Yes. You have to show older people respect, little people respect, and God respect, right? And that's very important that he said God. Because, but okay, so we're not going to go into that yet. So you had something else?
Everyone that I know.
Everyone that you know, right? Everyone, every person you meet, whether they're big or small, whether they're poor or rich, whether they're boring or not boring, or nice or not nice, you have to show them respect, right? But it is most important that you show your elders respect, right? Where sometimes you might be a little, iffy with your friends and you think like, oh, they're my buddy, they won't care, right? But when it's an older person, it always matters, right? Especially like if you have a job to do, those of you who work, right, who are older, you have to respect your boss, you have to respect, people who are in charge, people who are in authority, right? And then there are those people who are like the police officers, right? People who can actually hand out discipline, right? You can go to jail if you don't listen to a police officer.
Yeah, go to jail.
Yes, you have to respect Donald Trump. Even people who don't like, okay? And Donald Trump is a prestigious man of wealth, right? He has power. So if not for himself, who he is or what he represents, if you don't respect what he does, you still have to respect his authority. What's the other question?
What the stupid people
That's another question.
He has a
for another day.
toupee.
Okay, I will
It's
do
listening
it
to what?
Yes.
So what would you do if Donald Trump became president?
Leave the country. Leave the country.
I go to
We're
China.
having another conversation now. That is not the topic of today.
The principle, the rule is you respect everyone else, no matter their title, no matter their appearance, or not, or higher in authority, or not, respect everyone else. You don't have to be mingling with them, but you have to show respect, all right? If you cannot live with them, if they're not part of your family, all right? But respect anyone else, no matter their title or their appearance.
That's right. Okay, so let's go into some of the other ways, other than listening and not speaking over someone, some other ways that you can show people respect. Number one, everyone said that one. It was listen and listen harder, right? Because sometimes it's easy to hear someone, right? But you're not really listening, right? You don't like if I ask you, what did I just say? You're like, right? You don't really, it didn't really enter into your brain and sink in, right?
What are you doing?
Why is that in your ears? Okay, so let's do that to me. He probably wasn't, but, and so we're going to talk about what just happened. So he probably was not listening to music. But another thing about respect is he seemed like he wasn't listening, right? So sometimes you might be doing one thing, but if it looks like you're doing something else, it's up to me to decide how much I want to believe you or not. Like, I can definitely believe that you had music on. And as much as you tell me you weren't playing music, I don't have to believe you because you had headphones on. And usually when people have headphones on, But anyway.
And it's another type of disrespect. Because one person is talking to you that is in authority on you, and you still show broadly that you are listening. So you can talk about
Really so silly.
that's disrespect.
Okay.
All right, sister?
So that's an example there. Okay, so, all right, so we said listen harder. We said there's a difference between hearing and listening. So when you listen, you actually pay attention, you actually follow directions. The other one is to be considerate, right? When someone says something, you want to be considerate. You want to be able to follow what they're telling you. You want to show them that you actually care about what they're saying. You know, someone's talking to you and you're like, in your demeanor and how you carry yourself, the person can tell whether you care or not. And it's very offensive. It's very hurtful for someone to be pouring their heart out. Whether it's because you did something to them and you're explaining, I didn't like this or I didn't like that. Or they're giving you a speech or presentation like I am, right? And you're like not caring. You don't mind what they're saying. You're like into one ear, out the other, talk to the hand because, whatever. That kind of thing. No one likes that. It's not very respectful. Okay, so be considerate. Keep your promise is another way to show people that you respect them, that you value. You don't keep your promise. And it's not just you. A lot of people make promises that they don't keep. How many people have had someone not keep a promise to them? Raise your hand. A lot of people. That has happened to me too. And how did it make you feel? Did it make you feel angry, sad, upset? Awful, right? So he wanted to be violent afterwards. Okay, that's my next. No, we don't want to resort to violence. But anyway, the point is, the same way it made you feel when someone didn't keep a promise to you, is the same way another person will feel when you don't keep a promise to them. So I need you to be able to consider people enough so that you can keep your promise. So you should not be making promises that you cannot keep. I know sometimes it's easy to just say, I'll do this, right? Because in the spur of the moment, or that's the situation that you're in, and you get excited, and you're like, you promise it things that you're like later on, you're like, ooh, why did I even say that, right? Well, if you renege, or if you go back on your word, you want to go back on your word, it's best that you tell the person, that day when I said such and such and such, well, I was a bit hasty. I really can, or this is, and like if there are other things that are hindering you, that are stopping you from keeping your promise, let the person know. Hurdles, right? We talked about hurdles. Good job on remembering, right? So we're going to get off that chair now, and sit right here, as I said. If you're spinning, you're going to sit somewhere else. Okay? So one of the things that helps people to respect you, to like you much more, and to just regard you highly is if you keep your promise. Because they know they can count on you, they know you care about them, right? Because you don't want to hurt their feelings. Because when you don't keep your promise, it's very hurtful. Another one is to be on time. So we talked about that, right? We talked about being on time. That's another example of how you show people you respect them. You're showing them, I care about your time, right? I don't want you to sit there waiting. Like if mom or dad tells you that they're going to take you to the park, or you're going to read a story, or it's, they're going to do something for you, and they tell you, I'm going to do it in 3 minutes, or I'll be right back. And then you sit there, and you sit there, and you sit there. Or if your friend tells you, I'm coming over today, and your mom and dad knows you're coming to play, and they never show up. You wait 1 hour and 2 hours. Does that make you feel good? No. Because you're waiting, and you're waiting. And there's so many things you could have done in the time that you were waiting. Yeah. But you don't want to leave because you don't want them to miss you, right? You don't want to miss the time that you're going to spend with them. So then you are waiting, and all of that time wasted. So what they did is, they didn't show you respect. So in the same way, if you tell someone you're going to meet them someplace, you're going to be with them, you're going to do something with them at a certain time, you have to keep your promise. You have to show up. You have to get it done, right? Yeah. The other one is to have manners, right? Manners show people respect. I want everyone to go around and tell me, like, what are some things you know that are not mannerly? That when people do it, you're like, ew, disrespect, right? And if you know that they disrespected you, or they're being disrespectful. So we're going to go around and you tell me one thing that you think is very disrespectful in the way of manners. Cursing. Burping.
Low day.
Say it in English.
When you pass gas.
Exactly. Anyone else? Anything that was not stated that people want to say? So mannerly, something that with manners that a person doesn't do or does that makes you think that they're disrespectful.